All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So, what I want to talk about today is people that want to be wanted, but they don't want to be bothered. And I run across this all the time when I talk to people that are alone. Also, people that have had relationships that never seem to work out. That doesn't mean, when I say relationships too, just as far as boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or whoever you're dating. I'm talking about people in general that seem to be alone a lot, that don't want to be alone, but at the same time don't want to be bothered a lot of times. And I kind of talk about this a little bit with my mother, which is kind of crazy. I bring her up all the time on this podcast because I know she likes to listen, along with I have other cousins and other family members because I talk to this about them as well. And it's not to throw them under the bus or meaning it's anything towards them. This is just something that I see regarding a lot of my friends, colleagues, or people that I just meet. And you got to realize a lot of times, we want to be needed or wanted, right? But we have to send the signal out there that we're kind of open to that. I also go through that a lot in Florida with a lot of friends. And I was kind of somebody who was always traveling for years, so I never really had time to schedule certain things ahead of schedule because I was always getting my schedule like a week or two before I had to take off. So I was always changing plans unless it was something like a wedding, a doing, a gala, or something like that, then I could schedule around it. But for the most part, I was just kind of always winging it. And this last year and a half-ish, I've been home. And I really made myself accessible to anyone who wanted to do anything with me, really. And I tried to, always say yes in this situation because there was a lot of my friends, even family members, even my daughters, even my girlfriend, or even basically my stepkids. Like, I just wasn't available. And I always kind of had an out. And, that was just something I was going through. But I said, this time around, and I'm going to be doing a podcast on this about just getting back to enjoying the experience with others that I truly love, that I have the time and kind of will go out of my way to go do it. Not where it's if someone always reaches out to me and they're like, hey, Rich, dinner this weekend, and say it's Monday. I'm like, oh, yeah, hit me up. Well, I'll figure out how that goes. And then being like, man, I got to go to dinner with them this weekend, or should I go to dinner? I don't know how I'll feel. I'll hit you back Friday. Let me see, or Thursday, or whatever. Like, kind of always coming up with excuses where I was like, absolutely, what time are you looking at? Then they would tell me, I'd be like, I'll be there. Then somebody else may hit me up and say, hey, you want to do something this weekend? I'll be like, cool. I'm already, doing this, but if you want to do maybe the next day or something else or before, I was kind of always open. And my life honestly changed for the better, I think. Now, am I always going to be able to do this? I don't know. But I will tell you, if, a lot of people get, invited to certain things throughout their life. And we all get bogged down and exhausted, especially when it comes to family doings, parties, weddings, anniversaries, communions, confirmations, whatever religion you are, or whatever, occasions or whatever's going on, even including work, we burn out. But, if there are things you want to do, and you want to do them with certain people, one is reach out, but also make yourself accessible to others. I think a lot of others suffer that really love us or want to spend time with us because we kind of bog it down with saying, oh my God, I'm just sick of everything else. I don't even have time for that. The truth is that's probably the time you should make is the ones that really want to be with you, because a lot of times for work-related or just for someone else, or I don't know what the hell it is, we seem to make time for that a lot of times. And then we don't make time for the ones that want us, or want to be around us, I should say, or need us. And I am going to say this too. After a certain amount of time, when people keep kind of blowing people off, what do you expect out of them? And then you can tell kind of after a while, then they don't reach out to you, or you may not reach out to them, right? It goes both ways. And then you may see friends and be like, man, I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on? How come you don't reach out, or how come you don't do anything with us? Well, the truth is we did reach out for you for numerous amounts of time, but you never showed, or you always came up with an excuse. And why I say that is because I see so many people, again, saying how lonely they are after a certain amount of time. And I will say this too, and I talk about this with a lot of doings too, and I get it. On the flip side of all this, what's interesting is a lot of people don't want to be bothered, but they get invited to a lot of things, especially if you have a big family, okay? And you're kind of exhausted. You're burnt out again. You do not want to be bothered being invited to certain things. And again, you don't go, or say you go for a while, I should say, but then eventually you're just like, I don't want to go. I don't want to, everything is, I can't go, I don't want to go, and then you find yourself alone. You don't have to be alone. I think most people don't realize you decide a lot of times to be alone or to be lonely. You can't have it both ways in life. You can't always, have it where I only want to be bothered only at the specific time that I want to be bothered, if that makes sense. Because other people have other things that they may or may want you to, be a part of. I, again, get it's overwhelming at times. But if you're also honest in saying, listen, your kid's having a birthday party. I've been to so many birthdays this week, or it could be whatever the hell it is, someone inviting you to, and say, listen, I'm just going to take a break. Here's a birthday gift, or I'll come and see us on another day. Take an honest approach, but don't be mad again, because a lot of people don't realize the gossip, and it always comes back to everyone. You don't realize that. You can't keep telling everybody in your inner circles, I'm sick of being bothered. And then when you do get bothered, you're mad. And then when they don't bother with you, you're mad. Like, you want the respect a lot of times to be invited to certain things because, again, you want that identity, or you need that, like to say, hey, people still want me out there. They still want to be friends with me. But again, if you keep blowing them off again, who the hell wants to be bothered with you after a certain amount of time? Excuse me. Let me get some water. I don't mean to be disrespectful by any means either, that if somebody reaches out to you, of course, if it's a wedding or it's a big occasion, but the truth is, you don't have to go to every doing you're invited to. You don't have to go out on every time. But you do have to have respect to tell them, no, but also have the respect to reach out and say at certain times it's yes, and also be the one to reciprocate. I hear this, here's the famous saying I hear all the time, and I'm going to wrap it up with. When people lose touch with each other a lot of times. The phone works both ways, right? They could text me. They don't text me anymore. I don't text that. Whatever the case may be. Again, the phone does work both ways. If you want to be with somebody or spend time with them or do whatever the hell you want to do, reach out to them. Don't be embarrassed. Maybe they've been busy. Maybe they were going through some things. Maybe they're waiting for you to reach out because you may have forgotten they've reached out 2-3 times to maybe even go to lunch and you blew them off every time. Now, that doesn't mean they're mad at you. I'm just saying you got to really look at your behavior. And when it comes to, I think a lot of times with relationships, I guess you could say, or when first dating is what I should say. If you're putting out the signal a lot of times when, if you're having problems, I should say, when dating different, I don't care if it's a man or a woman or whatever, that you kind of only want to be bothered when you want to be bothered, kind of. It's on you. It's on you. It's not always going to be, you're not always going to go where you want to go a lot of times because other people want to do things that maybe you don't always want to do. And I kind of preach a lot, only do what you want to do. But I do understand that I'll say even if it's my daughters, they want to go do something that I don't want to do necessarily, I'm going to go do it and have a good time. A lot of times I'm shocked at maybe I didn't think it would be as fun as it is. It could even be going to a certain type of movie that normally I don't like to go to. It could be even meeting with your parents. It could be old friends. Whatever the case may be, take that time out to really understand that you only have so many, days on this earth, and you only have so much time with each person that you truly love. And I think a lot of us take that for granted. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. This is one of my rants, whatever the hell it is, but figure it out, man. So many people, I believe, are alone because of their behavior, and they're always like, it's always somebody else's fault or the way society treats them or how they've been canceled out or exiled or whatever all these things are. A lot of times it's you. You're sending out the vibe. You don't want to be bothered. You don't give a shit. And then when you are there, you're kind of miserable or you're not into it or you went way out of your way. And if you can't, I'm going to wrap it up officially with this. If you can't afford to go to a lot of doings, right? Be honest about it. You can't go to a lot of doings. Maybe, or giving gifts. I think this is what really a lot of people get upset with, is having to go do a lot of things and they can't afford what other people are always doing. And I get it. But if you take an honest approach, and my friends do this a lot with me. Rich, I'd love to go to dinner with you, but you just go to too high-end places. Rich, I'd love to do this with you. You're too this or that. You spend too much money or whatever the case may be. I will tell them immediately, are you nuts? I'll go anywhere to do anything with anyone. I don't care if you want to go to McDonald's, I'll go with you. Sure, if you want to go to a fine dining steakhouse, I'll probably go with you there. But, you can't always use, too, the excuse of money. Just be honest. If we all, I think, do have friends and family members and colleagues that maybe live a different lifestyle that you lead. And I've been in this, I go through this too. A lot of times I don't want to spend a lot of money. I think when it comes to me, every time I go out with people, like, oh my God, we're going to go out with Rich, you're going to have to do this and cigars, and you're going to have to, who the hell knows where you're going to end up? You're going to have to spend all this money. I don't have to do that. I don't necessarily always even want to do that. So anyways, again, just taking an honest approach with everyone in the situation you're in, because I can assure you, a lot of people, when you say, hey, I want to go out to dinner, that doesn't mean every time you go with them, you got to have steak and lobster. If you can't afford it, again, just, figure a way out to spend time with people you love with the income that you have, or that you have disposable, I guess. All right? All right, you can check me out at richcelenza.com. Any questions or comments, hit me up.